Today I wanted to talk about awakening at the level of mind and, a little bit about what it is. I mean, we could do a whole retreat on it. Uh, and some of the pitfalls of it for all people on the path of awakening, all people who care about truth. Um, and I'll highlight some of the kind of the challenges that neurodivergent, deeply sensitive people might have when there has been an opening at the level of mind, as beautiful and blessed as it is, there are these ebbs and flows and ups and downs and sticky spots and misperceptions that arise on this path. There are these eddies that we can kind of get a little stuck in, but we're not really stuck. Maybe it just needs to happen for a few weeks or a few months or a few years. Who knows? But awakening, what the heck is that? You know, the word is used a lot, and it depends what religious or spiritual tradition is talking about it usually. As Mayhem the cat walks across the screen and blesses us with her tail magic. Oh, I love animals. So when I talk about awakening, I'm talking about awakening uh, in these wisdom traditions, these enlightenment traditions of waking up to your true nature, your essential nature, which is beyond the body, beyond the personality, beyond the mind. It's our fundamental essence, we could say. We could call it a lot of things, spirit, pure consciousness, even that which is beyond consciousness, emptiness. We could call it a lot of things. And we wake up from this sense of, I see it in two fundamental movements, although it has lots of micro movements. We wake up from the idea that we're a distinct, fixed self. The mind makes everything into an object. Water bottle, tree outside my window, you, and even ourselves. And so we wake up from this misperception that we are also an object, a fixed object that is permanent and that is not connected to anyone or anything else, maybe philosophically. And so this brings us to that second movement of we realize we're not the self we thought we were. So we're something more spacious, fundamental. And because of that, we're everyone and everything. There is no separation. Non-duality, same taste, the seamless nature of reality, Rigpa. And that's a movement at the heart where there's this inclusion, where from up here, this vantage point where we're the witness and we're seeing that thoughts are objects, we've made ourselves into objects, other people are objects, we believe the stories we tell ourselves to a certain extent. Our emotions, our sensations, our feelings all have some sort of permanence. They're either forever or they're always happening to us. And we see that there's something, we take the backward step in Zen, as they say. It does feel like like a down and in, like, oh. I think John Kabat-Zinn described, the beginning of mindfulness as sitting behind a waterfall and just noticing the water falling. But you're seated here as the witness. So this beautiful witnessing awareness opens up. Ah, I'm the witness to everything. And then at the heart, it's like, whoa, if I'm the witnessing awareness to everything, so is everybody else. And in that, we're connected. We're connected. And then the body's waking up to and seeing itself as part of the whole. It's also empty and everyone and everything. Our body becomes the cosmos, but we won't really get into that today. I'm more interested in that movement from the head to the heart, or at least just including the heart in these glimpses and noticings and awakenings that we have at the level of mind. That what we took to be solid and forever is inherently empty, meaning that it's just been assigned meaning that we've given it, and it's all fleeting. But there's something that always remains. What is it? What is it? Ah, it's this awareness that I am. Okay. Awareness is always here, whether you're having a pleasant thought or an uncomfortable thought, right? Awareness was here when you were 3, and it's here now, whatever age you are. Awareness has always been aware of whatever is arising. And then awareness drops into the heart. The heart becomes very aware. The heart becomes a sensing, intuiting, seeing type of organ. And it's not even really the organ of the heart, right? It's not even really the heart chakra. It's the heart, it's the universal heart that really starts to wake up to itself. And when emptiness drops into the heart, there's this compassion for the ways we struggle and the ways we misunderstand what's arising. There's compassion for others. There isn't this sense of, there can be a high level separation at the level of mind when we're the witness and we're like, oh my God, nothing is real in the way I thought it was, not even me, not even everybody else. There can be such a detachment, and it can be a cool detachment. And a lot of people like to hide out there for years and even start to become spiritual teachers from that place. Because it's very comfortable to be slightly removed. And that's not non-duality. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of opening to non-duality. So at first there is a type of separation, of a stepping back from objects, from what appears to be real and solid, and into what's more fundamental, this awareness that never changes. But when it drops into the heart, we have such compassion for our humanity and for other people's humanity, for suffering, for struggle. Because this is what we came here to do, is to have these human lives, not be detached from these human lives. That wouldn't make really any sense. We're meant to have experiences. We're meant to have our heart broken. We're meant to be hopeful. We're meant to be disappointed. We're meant to have shit things happen that challenge us. We experience pain. We experience relationship and how weird it is and how challenging it is for everybody. Okay, what's going on? And so there is this beautiful movement of inclusion, inclusion, inclusion at the heart. We welcome in our own conditioning, our wounds, our tenderness, and even the parts of ourself, which might sound strange, but I just saw through the self. I know that the self isn't like real on some level. And yet there are energies that we carry with us. We have history. We've experienced history and it's carried in our body and our energy field. History of being hurt, history of always being the good boy or the good girl, or history of always being the rebel and the contrarian, or history of being the one that it never works out for. These histories, they're carried with us. And at the level of heart, there's such expansion that deepens here that it's the paradox doesn't seem confusing. It's not a problem that to know yourself as really fundamental emptiness, infinity, to know yourself as eternity, and then to hold these human parts with so much love and understanding, and it all gets welcomed in, welcome into this wider space that you are. There's more space for it. And so with the work I do for years now, I really focus on the heart actually as a central point of entry. I don't do so well with people who come to me and they're just very mental and they want to like break through the prison of their mind and they want to be the witness. And there is, excuse me, and there is a desire to reject humanity. Look, we all do it anyway at the beginning. Like I wanted to escape my suffering in the beginning. I don't know how many of you got on this path because you were miserable. I did. Um, and you know, some just feel a real devotion to God, and that's what calls them. Whatever got you here, you're right on track. But we have to, you know, if somebody's really, really kind of fundamental, they're a fundamentalist about none of this is real, none of this matters, I just want to escape, then there's only so far that I can go with them as a teacher and as a healer, because there isn't this willingness to open at the level of heart. And why would we resist that? It sounds so good. Because it can be overwhelming. And for us sensitive neurodivergent folks, it can be overwhelming at times to feel the suffering of the world, to open to our own suffering, right? But really, it's true for anyone, any human being, no matter what kind of neurotype your brain is. And so at the level of heart, we start to see the ways we reject and the ways we, yes, that can be allowed in because that feels blissful, but not that. And so the heart as a central portal, when I'm working with people, is really, if there is this sense of welcoming and this softening with our humanity from the start, not only is it healing, so you're engaging in healing, which is important, but awakening can really start to open up at both portals. And there isn't the kind of, I think, flatness that can come, detachment, real detachment if there's just been the mind. On my path, I did a lot of heart opening stuff right from the start. And I somehow knew to include it every day before I would do a concentration practice or an insight practice, Vipassana type of thing. I would spend 20 minutes doing heart, resting at the heart, and maybe doing metta. My background is Buddhism, but it can be a devotion to the guru. It can be a devotion to God. It can just be a gratitude practice. It can be sending love and compassion to every inch of you for the past week being hard or the past day. You send love to yourself, compassion, understanding. Be a loving mother to yourself. You can imagine or visualize a being that has looked at you with love in their eyes and acceptance, affection, compassion, and soak it up and take it in. And the heart kind of goes, oh, right. This is part of the human experience. I have been looked at that way. I have been regarded with such affection and kindness before. Yes, that's right. It's not all garbage. I've been reading the news for 6 hours. Right, right, right. Yes, yes. And I like Tonglen if there's been uh, some touching into a glimpse or at least a very powerful um, anchoring in yourself as awareness. Tonglen, presence. Tonglen can be very helpful, which is we breathe in the suffering of the world and we breathe out compassion. And so in every breath cycle, we're saying, yes, there is suffering and there is this to meet the suffering. So that the awareness that we are is actually this compassionate awareness. And when the fullness of awakening really blossoms and takes root, there's a lot of compassion. So we want to rest back into the awareness that we are and welcome a bit. And what do we do when we get overwhelmed? We're going to be talking about this over the 4 weeks but feeling your feet on the floor, your hips in the chair, connecting with your body. Your body gets to be included in the awareness that you are, in the compassion that you are. Your dear, sweet, dense, stubborn body is also awakeness, is also compassion. And we're here. We're not somewhere else. We're right here. It may feel like we're nowhere. It may feel like we're everywhere. And we are also here. So closing your eyes. And feel yourself being held. You're held by the seat you're on. Notice your breath and how it's supporting you. This wonderful body that is the vessel through which you wake up to your own infinite awake awareness. If it weren't for this body, we wouldn't be on a spiritual path. So let's rest at the heart here, this beautiful doorway to all the experiences that we tend to really enjoy in life, like gratitude and joy, connection, even peace. There is a peace at the heart that has a different quality than other types of peace. There is an equanimity here, an open-hearted evenness that we've all experienced at times. Loving kindness lives here and has poured out of you countless times in your life. And countless times loving kindness has been poured into you. And so appreciating the heart here, your capacity to feel heartbreak and disappointment, your capacity to be vulnerable and raw with another. Such a thrilling and deeply rewarding experience, and we've all experienced it. Regardless of what happens next. What an incredible portal this heart is. And this body carrying us around through this life. We might be grumpy with the body. We might have chronic ailments, injuries, aging, illness. But it's also done some quite miraculous, wonderful things to support us here. Its resilience, its strength, its capacity to change in positive ways and disappointing ways, sure. These bodies with their systems that keep us going, that we're not even consciously aware of in this moment. These vulnerabilities at the body, these vulnerabilities at the heart, soften us. They tend to open us if we are curious and available to that openness, so that we can see a little differently, perceive in new ways. And so, as you notice your mind right now, just notice if it's busy or quiet or has those intermittent thoughts. You're aware of thoughts, you're aware of no thoughts. Maybe your mind is fuzzy and foggy today. Well, then you're aware of that. Resting back, being aware of what's here, your body, your heart, the mind and its movements. But there is an observing stillness here, aware of it all. This awareness is here no matter what we are aware of. There is awareness. Letting this be enough. Resting back and resting as awareness. There's nothing to grasp. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to do. Just this. No matter the movements of the body, be they subtle or not, no matter the movements of the heart, emotions, feelings, and no matter the movements of the mind, thoughts, images. There is simply this awareness. Letting that be enough to just rest here. So there may be a sense that the mind has become larger because awareness is unbounded, really. Allow awareness to drop into the heart as if the heart is perceiving with that same unbounded, spacious quality. That sense of resting back into a larger space of the heart of bodhicitta, which contains our human hearts, contains the heart chakra. This universal heart taking up more space. We're simply noticing it's always been here. And so there's room for your confusion. There's room for your yearnings. There's room for your wounds. There's room for your passionate excitements. There's more space. There's room. And anchoring your breath at the heart, letting the heart breathe the breath for you. In simple acknowledgement that your heart is vast, whether you feel it or sense it or not. The heart has infinite capacities, the true heart. You get to be human. You get to be messy. And you also get to view these ways you get stuck, the ways we all get stuck and caught up and hooked, from the sitting back as the spaciousness that we are. Seeing that what's arising is not permanent and it's not really who we are. And to attach to it can cause us pain, more pain. There's pain of being a human, but then there's that pain of misunderstanding what arises as permanent and as something that says something about you. So there's room. Who you truly are is vast enough for all of us. Placing a hand on your heart and one on your belly. Appreciating the rise and fall of your breath, however it shows up. And gently opening your eye. Not this, not what I thought I was. Life isn't what I thought it was. And this. Ah, and this. When we look out at the world and at our relationships and ourself from that place of misunderstanding, not knowing that we're really this essential, vast, infinite awareness, then we can grasp, we can hang on to it. But as we take that backward step, then things can be held more lightly, and it's much freer. There is an initial freedom from the world, and then there's a freedom to be in the world. Ah, now it's getting good. Thanks for watching and listening. And if this has been helpful to you, please subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified about whenever I put out a new video, and let me know in the comments, how are you doing? All right, till next time, take care.